The world is on edge. You can feel it. Tensions are rising between nations. Conflicts that once simmered are now boiling over. Here at home, you see it every time you go to the store. Inflation remains stubbornly high, eating away at your savings, making everything more expensive. In times like these, the smart money doesn't sit still. It moves. It seeks safety. It seeks opportunity. We're seeing a quiet, deliberate shift in global capital. This isn't about chasing trends or getting rich quick. It's about understanding the fundamental forces reshaping our world and positioning for what comes next. We're going to keep it simple and look at where that money is flowing. These aren't speculative bets. They are investments rooted in the hard realities of geopolitics and economics. Let's get started. Let's talk about energy. Let's talk about energy. Let's talk about energy. In times of peace, we think of it as just a commodity. You fill up your car. You pay your heating bill. But when conflict erupts, energy becomes a weapon. It's as simple as that. Countries can use their control over oil and natural gas to exert immense pressure on their rivals. We've seen it happen time and again. A nation can threaten to turn off the taps, creating panic and economic chaos. Sanctions can suddenly cut off a major supplier from the global market, causing prices to skyrocket overnight. This is the new reality of energy geopolitics. This is precisely why major investors are looking closely at the energy sector. We're not just talking about the price of oil. We're talking about the entire infrastructure that finds, extracts, and transports it. Think about companies like ExxonMobil or Chevron. They are no longer just corporations. They have become strategic assets for their home countries. They control the resources that fuel armies, power industries, and keep the lights on for millions of people. In a world defined by conflict, access to a secure and reliable energy supply is a matter of national survival. The key point here is that energy security is now national security. When supply chains are disrupted by war or political tension, countries get nervous. They start stockpiling fuel. They sign long-term contracts for liquefied natural gas to reduce their dependence on pipelines that cross hostile territory. This creates a huge demand for new infrastructure. New terminals, new ships, new pipelines. All of this requires massive investment, and that's where the money is flowing. It's a direct response to the instability we are seeing across the globe. So, when you see headlines about conflict in an oil-producing region, it's not just a distant news story. It has a direct impact on the global flow of capital. Investors recognize that in a fractured world, the companies that control energy resources hold significant power. They provide a product that is non-negotiable for any modern economy. This makes them a critical component of any portfolio designed to withstand the pressures of war and inflation. It's a stark reminder that energy is, and always will be, about more than just economics. It's about power. Now let's turn to a sector that is, by its very nature, tied to conflict: defense. When tensions rise and wars begin, governments ramp up military spending. It's grim, but it's economic. Consumer spending can dry up in a recession. Defense budgets often stay or grow. Nations allocate funds to protect their borders, to project power, and to support their allies. That creates steady, predictable revenue for defense companies. We're talking about industry giants: Lockheed Martin, F-35 fighter jet; Raytheon, advanced missile systems; Northrop Grumman, next-gen bombers. They don't sell to the general public. Their customers are governments signing massive multi-year contracts. A new fleet or missile shield means funding for years, sometimes decades. Spending now goes beyond traditional weapons. The battlefield is evolving into space and cyberspace. More investment in military satellites for comms and surveillance. Huge spending on cybersecurity to protect power grids and financial networks. Demand for advanced tech is surging. Information control matters. This pushes defense firms into high-tech markets. The sector thrives because it's reliable. Other industries face weak consumer demand. Defense is driven by policy and threats. As long as conflicts persist, political will to fund militaries stays strong. For investors, that equals high barriers to entry and a stable customer base. A direct financial outcome of global geopolitical instability. When the value of your money is falling, what do you trust? That's the core question people ask during periods of high inflation. Every dollar in your bank account buys a little less each day. The trust in paper currency, or fiat money, begins to erode. This is when investors historically turn to hard assets, tangible things you can see and touch. The most classic examples are gold, silver. For thousands of years, these precious metals have been seen as a store of value and a safe haven. The logic is straightforward. Unlike a dollar bill, which a government can print more of, the supply of physical gold is finite. It cannot be devalued by a central bank's policy decision. That's why, during times of war or extreme inflation, you see a flight to safety. People and even central banks themselves start buying gold bullion, gold coins, gold-backed exchange-traded funds. They are not buying it to generate income. They are buying it to preserve their wealth and to protect their purchasing power from being destroyed by inflation. The nature of warfare is changing right before our eyes. Today's conflicts are not just fought with soldiers' tanks. They are fought with data algorithms, microchips. This is the new frontier of national security, and it is driving a massive wave of investment into a specific corner of the tech world. We're talking about artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, semiconductors that power it all. Control of these technologies is now seen as essential for any nation that wants to maintain a strategic edge. Think about how modern defense works. AI is being used to analyze satellite imagery, pilot autonomous drones, predict enemy movements. Cybersecurity firms are on the front lines defending against state-sponsored hacking attempts that target everything from military networks to the electrical grid. And none of this is possible without advanced semiconductor chips. These tiny pieces of silicon have become one of the most critical geopolitical assets on the planet. The race to design and produce the most powerful chips is a new kind of arms race. This has put a spotlight on a new class of companies. Palantir, data analytics for government and defense. CrowdStrike, leader in cybersecurity. NVIDIA, high-end chips powering AI. These companies are no longer just tech firms. They are integral parts of the national security apparatus. Their technology is what gives a modern military its intelligence, its speed, and its defensive capabilities. The key takeaway: data is the new oil, and the infrastructure that controls and protects it is paramount. Governments are pouring billions into securing digital supply chains and building a technological advantage. This isn't a short-term trend. It's a fundamental shift in what it means to be a global power. For investors, this creates a compelling opportunity in companies at the center of this digital transformation of defense and intelligence. To recap, we've looked at 4 specific areas where capital is flowing in response to a world grappling with war and inflation. First, energy, which has become a tool of geopolitical power, making energy security a top priority for nations. Second, the defense industry, which sees predictable, long-term funding as governments increase military spending in uncertain times. Third, hard assets like gold, which offer a safe haven to preserve wealth when the value of paper money is in decline. And finally, strategic technology, the new frontier of modern warfare and national security. These 4 sectors are not connected by chance. They are linked by the core needs of a world in crisis. The need for power, the need for security, the need for a stable store of value, and the need for a technological edge. Watching where the big money moves in these areas can give you a clearer understanding of the challenges and priorities shaping our future. It's not about hype or speculation. It is about recognizing the powerful undercurrents of geopolitics and economics. The lesson for anyone paying attention is to think critically and look beyond the immediate headlines. The smartest moves are often made by understanding the long-term structural shifts that are underway. These trends are not developing overnight. They are unfolding over months and years, driven by deep-seated global tensions. Being aware of them is the first step toward making informed decisions, whether for your finances or simply for your understanding of the world. Final note: this essay is for informational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. The world of investing is complex and carries risks. You should always conduct your own thorough research and consider consulting with a qualified financial advisor who can help you assess your individual situation and goals before making any investment decisions. Stay safe and, stay informed.